Speaker did remind the House that on Thursday, 3rd July 2025, her office received a letter of complaint from Mr. O. Amtike, Member of Parliament for Monk Central, against Mr. B. Mpundu, Member of Parliament for Nkana, and Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, Member of Parliament for Mpika, alleging that on Wednesday, 2nd July 2025, when the House resolved into Committee of Supply to consider supplementary estimates number 1 of 2020, misconducted himself by using informal and unparliamentary language against him in the House, and further alleged that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP in his debate referred to him as a Freemason.
Madam Speaker further stated that on Thursday, 17th July 2025, the Office of the Clerk wrote to Mr. B. Mpundu MP and Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP requesting them to exculpate themselves, and that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP responded while Mr. Mpundu MP did not respond. Madam Speaker observed that the complaint by Mr. O. Amtike MP raised the following issues: a member using unparliamentary language against another member, a member using informal language during the proceedings and debates of the Assembly.
And in rendering her ruling, Madam Speaker referred to the following authorities: Standing Orders 213-1 and 2 over the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, Standing Orders 72-1, Standing Orders 72-2, House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 2nd edition, and as well as the Standing Orders 235 over the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024.
Madam Speaker informed the House that she had recourse to the relevant verbatim record and video footage of the material day, and guided that she would first address the complaint against Mr. B. Mpundu MP. She stated that the video footage and the verbatim record revealed that Mr. B. Mpundu MP uttered unpalatable words using informal language.
And Madam Speaker then addressed the complaint against Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP and stated that Mr. Kapyanga denied the allegations and argued that the letter of complaint did not specify the standing order allegedly breached, and considered the complaint to be without merit. Madam Speaker stated that the video footage over the material day revealed that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP uttered unparliamentary words complained of.
Madam Speaker further observed that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP's assertion that the complaint against him did not refer to any standing order was unfounded, as Mr. O. Amtike MP in his letter mentioned the breached standing order. Madam Speaker admonished Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP, considering the nature of the words he had used against Mr. O. Amtike MP, and ordered him to read an apology. Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP read an apology and thereafter resumed his seat.
Mr. B. Mpundu MP, on the other hand, was not in the House. However, Madam Speaker proceeded to address Mr. B. Mpundu MP in absentia. She stated that she had considered the gravity and offensive nature of the words uttered by Mr. B. Mpundu MP, and decided to suspend the member for a period of 14 days with effect from Tuesday, 4th November 2025. She then put the question to suspend Mr. B. Mpundu MP, and the House resolved in the affirmative. Mr. Mpundu was accordingly suspended.
And after that ruling, Madam Speaker did make another ruling. Madam Speaker informed the House that on Monday, 9th July 2025, she received a letter of complaint from Mr. Ara Mabenga, Member of Parliament for Mlovezi, against Mr. B. Mpundu, Member of Parliament for Nkana, for statements attributed to him in an article titled "Binwell Slums Current Parliament as Useless," published in the Mass newspaper of Saturday, 5th July 2025. Madam Speaker stated that in the complaint, Mr. Ara Mabenga MP contended that Mr. B. Mpundu MP's comments contravened Standing Order 215 1I and 222B of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024.
Madam Speaker, I informed the House that the offense over the office over the clerk wrote to Mr. Bimpundu MP on Wednesday, 23rd July 2025, requesting him to confirm whether or not statements in the article were correctly attributed to him. However, Mr. Mpundu MP opted not to respond.
Madam Speaker then informed the House that the complaint by Mr. Ara Mabenga MP raised the issue of a member committing contempt in the House publishing or making a statement reflecting on the character or impartiality of the Speaker or the proceedings of the Assembly. In addressing the issue, Madam Speaker referred to the following authorities.
Section 19D and E over the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, Chapter 12 over the Laws of Zambia, Standing Order 222-2A and B over the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, SL Shakta and M and Cow, Practice and Procedure of Parliament, 7th edition, the National Assembly Daily Parliamentary Debates over the 5th session over the 13th National Assembly, Wednesday, 17th September 2025.
Madam Speaker informed the House that it was a breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House for a member to make statements that were demeaning and reflected negatively on the character and impartiality of the Speaker. Madam Speaker stated that she had referred the matter to the Committee on Privileges and Absences for consideration, and that the committee found the statements made by Mr. Bimpundu MP a breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House, and recommended that the member be suspended from the service of the House for a period of 30 days in accordance with Section 28(2) of the National Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act.
As Mr. Mpundu MP was not in the House, Madam Speaker proceeded to admonish him in absentia for his conduct and stated that she endorsed the committee's recommendation to suspend Mr. Bimpundu MP. Madam Speaker then put the question to the House and the division was called. The House voted and the results were as follows. Yes 67, noes 27, abstention 3.
Yes, indeed, and the question was resolved in the affirmative. Mr. Bimpundu MP was accordingly suspended for a period of 30 days with effect from Tuesday, 4th November 2025. Madam Speaker then proceeded to reprimand Mr. Bimpundu MP in absentia for his disorderly conduct in the House, and reiterated that gross indiscipline and misconduct by any member would be made with the fullest measure of accountability.
Madam Speaker informed the House that she had already taken into account the earlier resolution of the House to suspend Mr. Bimpundu MP from the service of the Assembly for 14 days and stated that the two suspensions would run concurrently.
Yes, indeed, Joe. Thereafter, the House went on to consider urgent matters without notice, and the following urgent matters without notice, Understanding Order 142, whereas we must make mention all the three matters were inadmissible. The first one was from Mr. Mtotwe Kafwaya, Lunte, Member of Parliament. His subject matter was on why President Hakainde Hichilema attended the inauguration ceremony of the President of the Republic of Tanzania and expressed his support despite reports of violence and deaths in the aftermath of the elections.
The other one did come from Mr. Lucas Mumbana Konde, constituency member of Parliament. He raised an issue on why the Minister of Justice had not withdrawn the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025, despite the Constitutional Court declaring it unconstitutional. The matter was not admitted, as he said it as.
And the third matter did come from Mr. Christopher Kangombe. His subject matter was on why the government was not providing details on the agreement to set up a new petroleum refinery. This matter was equally inadmissible.
Yes, indeed. Thereafter, the Minister of Agriculture made a statement on delayed payments to farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency (FRA) during the 2025 harvest season, under the measures being taken by the government to ensure safe storage of all maize grain collected from farmers. This arose from a directive by Madam Speaker during urgent matter without notice raised by Mr. Bino Mpundu, Member of Parliament for Nkana, and Mr. George Chiwe, Member of Parliament for Ron, on Wednesday, 29th October 2025. The Minister briefed the House on measures being taken to resolve the outstanding payments to farmers and assured the House that all the maize was safely stored in FRA sheds.
Yes, indeed, and thereafter we did see the Minister of Finance and National Planning present 7 government bills which were referred to the Planning and Budgeting Committee, and the committee is expected to bring the report to the House on Tuesday, 25th November 2025, and one government bill was presented by the Acting Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, and it was referred to the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters, and the committee is equally expected to bring a report to the House on Tuesday, 25th November 2025.
Yes, indeed, and these are the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2025, as well as the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2025.
We also had the Property Transfer Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025, the Mobile Money Transaction Levy Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2025.
And we also had another one, Taza, which was referred to the Committee on National Economy. Maybe we give our viewers the details of that bill.
Yes, indeed, Joe. We had the Zambia Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2025, and we also had the Registration of Business Names Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2025. These two bills were referred to the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters. They were considered at first reading stage.
Yes, indeed. After that, there was consideration of questions for oral answer number 46 and 47, understanding order 80. And the other question, which was question number 48, was not considered because the member wasn't present in the House.
Thereafter, the Minister of Finance and National Planning did move a motion that the House do now resolve into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026, presented to the National Assembly in September 2025. The Minister announced that he was a bearer of a message from the President to the Republic of Zambia recommending the motion for consideration of the House, and there being no further debate, the debate on the motion stood adjourned, and the House did adjourn accordingly at 17:52 hours. Joe, we now turn our attention to today's order paper. We do expect some announcements, and we also expect the House to consider some urgent matters without notice. 6 questions for oral answer, understanding order 80, and we also expect Chasefu Member of Parliament, Mr. Mishek Nyambose, to move a motion. We also expect the Cotton Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, to be considered at second reading stage. And just now, Joe, we just go through some of the questions that we expect the House to consider.
Yes, indeed, we have question 49 coming from Mr. Chinga Miutu, Karabo Central Member of Parliament, to ask the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in A, how many visa applications were made by Zambians from 2022 to 2024 year by year to the following destinations: European Union countries and the United Kingdom. In B, how many applications were not successive, how much money was spent on the applications, and what the cause of the rejection over the applications was.
And any time from now, we'll be able to see Madam Speaker's procession making its way to the chamber. As you can see in picture, we have members of Parliament getting ready, and as soon as we see Madam Speaker's procession, that will signify the commencement of today's business. We continue looking at some of the questions that we expect the House to consider this afternoon. Question 50 is expected to come from Mr. Sunday Chanda, Kanchibuya Member of Parliament. His question will be directed to the Minister of Labour and Social Security. He wants to know whether the government is aware that some employers in the private sector terminate employees' contracts without adhering to the grievance procedure in the Employment Code Act number 3 of 2019. In B, if so, what measures are being taken to ensure compliance with the law? And just now, Madam Speaker's procession making its way into the chamber. We'll take you to the floor of the House. Keep watching Parliament Television, the only station that brings Parliament closer to you. Good afternoon.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of faith and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those to them. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the officers of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Honorable members, I have three announcements to make. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of officers from the Public Policy Academy in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. You are most welcome. Thank you. You may take your seats. The next announcement, I'll combine the two. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools: Revival Christian School in Lusaka District. The other school is Lusaka International Community School in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. You are most welcome. You may take your seats. Thank you. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Kafisa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to direct a question or an urgent matter without notice to our Honor the Vice President, who is responsible for disasters in our country. Madam Speaker, we woke up today, Madam Speaker, to very unfortunate news that fire has swept through one of our biggest markets in Zambia, which is Chiwempala market in Chingola. And Madam Speaker, you are aware that there are many other markets in Zambia that are in similar state in terms of not having proper infrastructure for our people to trade in. Madam Speaker, I'm directing this matter to our Honor the Vice President because we have a disaster. I think we've lost one person in Chingola and the entire market has been swept with fire. Is our Honor the Vice President in order, Madam Speaker, not to come to Parliament, provide assurance, Madam Speaker, to the people of Zambia in many other trading facilities that government is taking steps to provide the correct trading facilities, Madam Speaker, to prevent these fires, where fires, Madam Speaker, are damaging property that belong to people that are supposed to earn a living. And Madam Speaker, this is a matter that obviously has been brought into the public domain as at last evening. Madam Speaker, is our Honor the Vice President in order not to assure us, Madam Speaker? I thank you.
The issues of fires, I think, is not a new thing. But Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, when a situation like this happens, the best, I always say that the best option is to approach her Honor the Vice President. Her office is open. As you are saying, she's the one in charge of disasters. I recall that when there was the last fire that was there on the Copper Belt, her Honor the Vice President did travel there. It never took any honorable member of Parliament asking a question on the floor of this House to move her Honor the Vice President to go to attend to that situation. So even in this manner, I'm sure measures are being taken. The visitations will be done, and if there is a disaster, it will be attended to. But if the Honorable Member for Kafisa would like to speak in detail on the issues of fires in the marketplaces, I would suggest that the Honorable Member puts in a question, then the Minister responsible will be able to come and answer that question. But as for this disaster that is there, I wasn't even aware. It's news to me now, or when you've just mentioned it, Honorable Member. But if there was a fire, it's bad. We don't want anybody to lose property and even lose life. is not good, but the fact that you have mentioned it, that means something that has concerned you. But I'm sure the executive is listening, has got a listening ear, and they will be able to attend to that issue. But if there are any challenges, Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, you are encouraged to engage the office of Her Honor the Vice President. The next is the Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm equally rising on an urgent matter without notice, and I'm directing it to the Minister of Agriculture. As you know, Madam Speaker, I rarely rise on such matters because I take an initiative to meet the Minister responsible in whatever area I'm trying to seek a clarification. But on this matter, Madam Speaker, it's relating to the payment of farmers. You heard the Minister yesterday mentioning that I was attentively listening. And Madam Speaker, after the assurances he made yesterday in relation to 2 billion kwacha, for example, being released today by Zanaco, I took an interest. As you know, 5 billion kwacha, syndicating it in our country is a substantial amount of money. So when you're syndicating funds, you're working with other banks are working together. So I discovered about 4 banks are supposed to put this money together, which is a good initiative by government. But contrary to what the Minister was saying, this exercise is far from completion. And therefore, that statement he made, which made our farmers and us members of Parliament excited and at ease, is not the situation on the ground, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the processes are still going on. These particular banks, which I don't want to mention, apart from Zanaco, which he mentioned yesterday, still are far from completing the necessary processes, including identifying collateral managers to manage the various depots that they will select. So this exercise might end up maybe in the last week of November. But the Minister assured us that the farmers will be paid immediately. As Kantanshi, we feel concerned that as much as we know that government is making these efforts, there is need for the ministry to provide accurate information. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I'm seeking your indulgence. If maybe the Minister of Agriculture can come back and clarify. As you know, the farmers have been waiting for their money since first week of July to this date. And if they don't have the accurate date they're supposed to collect their money, that does not augur well for their hard work. I'm seeking your indulgence, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kantanshi. Yes, we had the Honorable Minister yesterday saying that the 2 million was just about to be paid. And for having the Minister of Agriculture having stated that that amounted to government assurance. So instead of us again asking the Honorable Minister to come here and tell us whether the 2 million is ready or not ready, 2 billion is ready or not ready, I'm sure we can use other means. Government assurances, what do we do when the government makes an assurance? We can follow that course instead of the Honorable Minister coming back. But the Honorable Minister is there, I can see him, is listening. So Honorable Minister, your Honorable members here are concerned about the statement that you made yesterday, that the 2 billion was just about to be paid, and I'm sure the farmers were excited that at least something is going to be done. But according to Honorable Member for Kantanshi, that process is far from being concluded. So maybe I would urge the Honorable Minister to take steps to ensure that this process is concluded as soon as possible so that the farmers can be paid. I think that's far much I can go for now. But Honorable Member for Kantanshi, please again engage the Honorable Minister, make a follow-up and encourage him to do the needful as he has assured the House and the nation at large. So, thank you. The last one will be the Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, My matter is quite urgent now. As a district, we have tried to see if we can work around using Constituency Development Fund. And what has happened is that the money for Constituency Development Fund, Madam Speaker, is not enough to work on the problem we have. Nyimba, 10 years ago, we received a water system which was donated by, should be the Swedish government, one of the European countries. By then the population of Nyimba, Madam Speaker, was less than, Nyimba district, I'm just talking about the CBD of Nyimba. The population was less than 15,000 people. Today, Madam Speaker, the population of Nyimba CBD is close to 40,000 people, meaning the water tank, which is 500 cubics, it's not enough to supply the water system to our district. And what has happened is that the Minister of Water is very much aware of the problem with silty in our district, and because of power cuts and Nyimba being a dry district, we do not have enough water to supply our residents. Madam Speaker, you may wish to know that maybe less than 10% of people are drinking safe and clean water in our district. Even those with mechanized water houses like myself, Madam Speaker, my 5,000 tank, at 8 hours it is dry, it's empty, and I can't pump water because there is no power. So my question, Madam Speaker, I need your serious indulgence, Madam Speaker, on this matter. If the Minister of Water and Sanitation can explain to the people of Nyimba the plans he have over it, because he's very much aware. I had a chat with him yesterday, Madam Speaker. Now the people of Nyimba, they don't want to listen to hear from me, they want to hear it from the Minister himself, because they know that we have tried our level base at the district level. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyimba. I'm sure that's a matter that you can put in a question, as it doesn't qualify to be raised as an urgent matter without notice. Of course, people need to drink clean water. And again, the Minister is there, is listening, and I think this is not the first time that the Honorable Member for Nyimba has talked about the problem or shortage of water in Nyimba. I think last week, when we were dealing with another question relating to water, this issue was brought up. So, Honorable Member for Nyimba, you've been discussing. But maybe if you would want the Honorable Minister to say something on the floor of the House, you can put in a question, and then the Minister will be able to address it. Thank you very much. That concludes urgent matters without notice. We go to the next item, questions for oral answer, understanding order 80. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 49.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Chinga Miyutu, MP for Kalabo Central, has asked the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to provide responses to the following parliamentary questions in 4 parts. A, how many visa applications were made by Zambians from 2022 to 2024, year by year, to the following destinations? Europe, A, Europe, B, United Kingdom. Number 2, how many applications were not successful? C, how much money was spent on the application? And D, what of the application was? Madam Speaker, in A, how many visa applications were made? Our answer is that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation does not process visa applications made by Zambian citizens to foreign countries. Visa applications for travel to destinations such as European countries and the United Kingdom are managed directly by the respective embassies and consular offices accredited to Zambia. Zambian missions abroad on the other hand, Madam Speaker, process visas for foreign nationals seeking to travel to Zambia in accordance with the Immigration and Deportation Act number 18 of 2010 and related statutory instruments. In B, how many applications were not successful? Again, Madam Speaker, information concerning visa applications made by Zambian citizens to foreign missions is considered consular and diplomatic data that falls within the jurisdiction of the host missions. Such information, Madam Speaker, is treated as confidential under international diplomatic norms and cannot be disclosed to third parties without the consent of the concerned foreign governments. This position, Madam Speaker, is guided by the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961 and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations 1963, which establishes the principles of sovereignty, confidentiality, of consular functions and non-interference in the internal affairs of other states. Specifically, Article 31B of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations provides that the functions of a diplomatic mission include ascertaining conditions and developments in the receiving state by lawful means, not direct administration of consular processes, and the Article 5 of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, which limits consular functions to assisting nationals of sending state and issuing visas for entry into that state, not for other destinations. B, how much money was spent on the applications? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation does not have jurisdiction over the collection or aggregation of visa-related statistics, fees, or causes of rejection for Zambian applicants to foreign destinations. These remain the responsibility of the respective foreign missions, which operate under their domestic immigration laws and policies. D, what the causes of rejection of the applications were. While general global trends indicate that visa rejections are often due to factors such as incomplete documentation, insufficient financial proof, or failure to meet immigration criteria, the Ministry has no official access to such detailed records from foreign missions. However, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation continues to work with foreign embassies and international partners to promote fair and transparent mobility agreements and to enhance awareness among Zambian travelers on visa requirements through pre-travel advisory services. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? I don't know if there is any. Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a very difficult situation, Madam Speaker. Maybe to find out further. Honorable Minister, regarding all the statutes that you have highlighted, the government still is aware that we have a number of Zambians whose visa applications have been rejected. Or maybe let me find out, is the government not aware that there are applications for visas which were rejected? There is no other way that the government can know the concern of the Zambians whose applications have been rejected, or it's not a matter that the government can pay attention to. Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
I think Madam Speaker, as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Relations, when we looked at this question, we wanted to be as comprehensive as possible in our answer. And let me repeat, information concerning visa applications made by Zambian citizens to foreign missions is considered consular and diplomatic data that falls within the jurisdiction of the host missions. Such information is considered as confidential under international diplomatic norms and cannot be disclosed to third parties without the consent of the concerned foreign nations. Further, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation does not have jurisdiction over the collection or aggregation of visa-related statistics, fees, or causes of rejection for Zambian applicants to foreign destinations. As I said also, there are various reasons why visa applications are rejected. If there are any particular instances, we can only invite our Member of Parliament to visit our offices so that behind the scenes we can advise the various applicants on how to push in applications which will be successful, because there are various reasons, as I stated already. In fact, Madam Speaker, some reasons can be as varied as overstaying in a country, 40 passports, other than what I've already stated above. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister how much our people are paying for these visas. Because, Madam Speaker, what I know is that Zambians are paying exorbitant amounts when applying for visas to go to the EU, United Kingdom, and USA. And yet, when our counterparts from those countries apply to come here, they pay just minimum amounts. So I want to find out from the Minister how much Zambians are paying when going to these three states. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you very much for that very specific question, and I can only invite the Honorable Member of Parliament to visit our offices so that we can give you the schedule. Madam Speaker, thank you.
I believe there is always a reason for a question being asked, and the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central has not come out as to why he was asking this question. There must be a reason why he asked this question. Honorable Member for Kalabo, what was the reason for asking the question?
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll express it in my own way. When the communities exist, they exist under mutual understanding. And the visitations to these communities or regions, to me, I take them as normal. But where it raises a concern is that citizens, Zambian citizens who want to travel to these countries, they don't merely apply, they pay monies. And those monies, they are monies which are valuables, raised by these citizens, which should give them an output. But, Honorable Madam Speaker, these monies would be paid and nothing comes out, and no refund. And these monies don't just go into the ditch. This is where the concern is. This money is not drawn into the ditch. It goes into viable accounts, performing duties elsewhere there. And then you, Honorable Minister, what type of a relationship is this? This is what made me raise this question. I was questioning what type of a relationship it was. because these are not mere applications. And if we claim to be friends, then it's a questionable friendship, because we work tirelessly for these monies. At least, there must have been a viable, solid reason why these monies cannot be paid back, because we are friends. So to me, Madam Speaker, this is a questionable friendship. Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think, let me again, I said we took time to respond comprehensively. The Vienna Convention. As I said already, information concerning visa applications made by Zambian citizens to foreign nations is considered consular and diplomatic data. This position, Madam Speaker, is guided by the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, which establish the principles of sovereignty, confidentiality of consular functions, and non-interference in the internal affairs of other states. Madam Speaker, when you apply to go to other countries, there are various rules and regulations. These which are peculiar or particular to various countries. So it's up to those countries, first of all, to state whether the individual applying to go to that country meets the criteria set by that country. If nationals from the applicants, if the country, for example, if it's Zambian nationals applying to go to the United Kingdom, it's not up to the Zambian government to interfere with the receiving country as to the conditions under which our national will be accepted in that country. It works both ways. As a sovereign country here in Zambia, when somebody from the UK, for example, applies to come to Zambia, we have to find out whether this individual coming to Zambia is of good standing, or whether they meet the criteria set by ourselves. So under the Vienna Convention, it remains the duty of the receiving country to check if the applicant meets that criteria. I'm not sure whether I've shed more light, but it's a Vienna Convention. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, I think the concern of the Honorable Member is that money is paid, and it's very difficult to get money, and when you apply, these people get a rejection. So is there a way that the government can engage these embassies to find a way that maybe some monies can be refunded, so that somebody doesn't lose out your money, lose out on the visa? I think that is the concern of the Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, we have an answer to that. These application fees obviously are non-refundable. What happens when you make an application? You pay a fee. That is the money actually we use obviously to do a search on you to ensure that you meet that criteria. Even if the visa application is rejected, there will have been an expenditure made already. So these fees are non-refundable. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure the Honorable Member for Kalavo Central is satisfied that the fees are non-refundable. So we go to the next question. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 50.
The Honorable Minister of Labour and Social Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Sande Chanda Fokan Chivia asked a question to Minister of Labour as follows. as to whether government is aware that some employers in the private sector terminate employees' contracts without adhering to the grievance procedure as prescribed in the Employment Code Act number 3 of 2019. And in B, if so, what measures are being taken to ensure compliance with the law? And in C, Madam Speaker, what measures have been put in place to safeguard employees from the following Roman 1, unfair dismissals, and in 2, unsafe working conditions. Madam Speaker, in A, the ministry acknowledges that some employers terminate contracts of employment without adhering to the provisions of the Employment Code Act. And to address this issue, the ministry has taken a multifaceted approach to ensure compliance with the law. In B, Madam Speaker, firstly, the ministry conducts regular inspections at workplaces to monitor adherence to the Act. Additionally, awareness campaigns are organized for both employers and employees to educate them on their labor rights and obligations. The ministry also advises employers to provide contracts, policies, and codes of dispute handling to their employees, promoting transparency and fairness in the workplace. Excuse me. Further, the ministry imposes administrative sanctions on employers who fail to comply with the Employment Code Act. Additionally, the ministry plays a crucial role, Madam Speaker, in handling labor disputes between employers and employees, providing a platform for resolving conflicts and promoting harmonious industrial relations. Through these measures, the ministry aims to protect the rights of workers, promote compliance with the law, and foster a stable, productive employment environment. Madam Speaker, under C, what measures? The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is cognizant of instances where employers terminate contracts of employment without adhering to the provisions of the Employment Code Act, as reviewed through labor inspections and dispute meetings. To ensure compliance, the ministry undertakes various measures, including conducting labor inspections as mandated by sections 10(1) of the relevant legislation, which empowers the Labor Commissioner to carry out inspections to promote industrial harmony. This section, Madam Speaker, this section explicitly states that the Labor Commissioner has the authority to conduct inspections and may delegate this power to other officers. For avoidance of doubt, the above cited section states that under 10, the Labor Commissioner may A, enter freely at any reasonable time, whether by day or by night, to inspect any premises or conveyance where the Labor Commissioner reasonably believes persons are employed. In B, enter by day any premises in order to carry out any examination, test or inquiry that the Labor Commissioner considers necessary in order to determine if the provisions of this Act are being complied with. Employer, under C, interview whether alone or in the presence of witness, an employer or employee, on any matter concerning the application of a provision of this Act. And D, question a person who the Labor Commissioner considers as useful information, except that the person shall not be required to answer any question that may tend to prejudice or incriminate that person. E, require the production for examination of any book, register, account, or other document
the keeping of which is prescribed by this Act. Under F, make copies of documents or to take extracts of documents that the Labour Commissioner may consider necessary. And G, remove a book, register account or other document that the Labour Commissioner may consider necessary. Under H, enforce the posting of notices in a place and manner that may be prescribed. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, in accordance with the Employment Code Act, employers are required to ensure that all contracts of employment exceeding 6 months are reduced to writing as stipulated in Section 22. These contracts must capture all essential terms and conditions, including provisions for termination. Furthermore, employers are mandated to develop comprehensive employment policies, including employment policy and procedure, code of conduct, HIV/AIDS policies, health and wellness policy, harassment, in fact anti-harassment policy, performance management policy, and grievance procedure. These policies are outlined in Section 95(1) of the Employment Code Act, abiding on both employers and employees. Employers must adhere to their code of conduct when addressing offences. The Ministry also plays a crucial role, Madam Speaker, in handling labour disputes between employers and employees through dispute resolution meetings, aiming to maintain harmonious employment relationships. In cases of non-compliance, the Ministry invokes the provisions of Employment Code Act, which provide for administrative sanctions against errant employers. Specifically, Section 133 of the Act outlines the permissible sanctions for employers who fail to provide contracts and policies as required by the law. Madam Speaker, the above cited law states that, specifically under 133(1), subject to other provisions of this Act where the Labour Commissioner is satisfied or where a person admits that the person has contravened the provision of this Act which is not an offence, the Labour Commissioner may impose one or more of the following administrative sanctions. A, caution not to repeat the conduct which led to the non-compliance with the provision of this Act. B, a reprimand. And C, a directive to take remedial action or take specific arrangements, make specific arrangement to address identified non-compliance. In D, the restriction or suspension of certain specified business activities. E, publication of a public notice of any prohibition or requirement imposed by the Labour Commissioner under this part and of any rescission or variation of the and the notice may, if the Labour Commissioner considers necessary, include a statement of the reason for the prohibition, requirement, variation, or rescission. And F, a financial penalty not exceeding 200,000 penalty will apply. In instances where an offence under the Employment Code Act does not specify a penalty, Madam Speaker, Section 135 of the Act applies. This section prescribes a general penalty of 200,000 penalty units, equivalent to a minimum of 80,000 kwacha. In Zambian kwacha, of course, is 80,000 in Zambian kwacha. Section 135 of the Employment Code Act explicitly states that a person who contravenes a provision of this Act for which a specific penalty is not provided in this Act is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 200,000 penalty units. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia.
Madam Speaker, thank you so very much, and allow me to thank the Honourable Minister for a very comprehensive response to our questions. Madam Speaker, the spirit behind asking these questions is that we are seated on rampant worker abuse across the country. And there are certain sectors that are leading in terms of recording very high levels or incidences of abuse of our people. And we believe that through this question, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Minister will be able to also send a very clear message to the employers abrogating the law, but also give comfort to our workers. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the Minister for adequately citing the law, and to agree that the law would be adequate, but maybe the problem would be enforcement. Can the Honourable Minister what specific enforcement mechanisms or penalties are being applied against employers who repeatedly violate the grievance procedure under the Employment Code Act, and whether any such employers have been sanctioned in the last 1 year? Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Labour and Social Security.
Madam Speaker, this ministry has been relentless, has spoken out relentlessly, as I thank the Honourable Member for asking that we further provide a guidance, send a clear message. The message has been very clear, and I'm sure the citizens of this country, in particular our citizens out there at industry, have appreciated the fact that we've been out there at industry within the limitations of the resources that the ministry has. And I want to mention here that out of the 120 districts, we have 178 labor inspectors. So literally you are almost at 1-to-1 labor inspector per district. But of course, we do realize that industry varies in different regions. So you have regions that have got larger industry, that are more industrialized relatively than others, especially in the rural space. And so the apportionment of these inspectors goes with size and extent of industry that you have, of course, in provinces like Copperbelt, Honourable Member, Copperbelt, Lusaka, Central Province, Southern Province, and now Northwestern Province coming up, will tend to attract more inspectors to go there and adequately support the industry, support the workers at work, and indeed investors themselves, the employers, because we are a tripartism. So in every resolution that we make of the issues at industry, the employer must be there, the worker must be there, and government must be there. So within those limitations, the Honourable Member must be assured that we are doing the very best. And I want to also assure by letting him know that the targeting of those inspections, for instance, is based on work we did very early in the New Dawn administrations coming to office. We didn't walk in there and make assumptions and begin to attend to matters. We first and foremost undertook exercises of assessment. We did develop heat maps based on risk assessments that we undertook to know exactly where the key issues outstanding to promote decent work at industry, and as well harmony at industry. We had to undertake that activity so we know what is in the red and in the yellow-orange. We know what is in the green. Capitalize on the wins in the green, if any, to move the agenda to go and ensure that we develop the competency at industry for employers to realize that the biggest, the greatest asset they have to achieve their objectives, their visions, their profitability is the worker. this partner, that their social partner. So we have undertaken quite a few inspections. Just to give an example of the period under review, Madam Speaker, we undertook to target about 2,000 inspections, and we have to date, if I get the number correct here, certainly we've done more than 75%. We have achieved so far in the financial year 2,545 inspections that have been conducted, and 35 employees have been, yes, 2,545 inspections have been undertaken, and 35,320 employees have been covered in that context. So it might not be widespread across the whole nation, but within the industrial sizes, we have been able to undertake this. Madam Speaker, before we came into office, inspections were scanty. You would never get into the thousands of inspections such as what we have done here. And so clearly we have demonstrated from some cases you've seen, both on the Copper Belt with the labor inspectors led by the Labor Commissioner going out there, not in twos or threes, but going for joint inspections that are more comprehensive to ensure that we cover the legal instruments, the Act, in all the perspectives, with the other supporting acts like the NAPSA Act, the ZIRIM Act, the Workers' Compensation Act, and the Occupational Health and Safety Institute Act. All these getting together, including our social partners, the workers' representatives, the umbrella bodies, representatives coming along to those inspections, as well as the federations or umbrella organizations of employers coming along. By so doing, we want to ensure that we do not only hold accountable those employers that we are visiting at a given moment, but we are also sending out a message, Madam Speaker, by carrying media to also communicate to those other employers that this government of the new dawn of the UPND is a government led by the guided by the rule of law. So as we are inspecting another entity, we are also coming to your entity. And so far, Madam Speaker, we have been to most of the provinces, even those with lesser industry. So, Madam Speaker, there's a due diligence regime out there at the ministry that also includes other measures that I want to assure the honorable member that worker protection also has been enhanced by systems that we've put in place, such as the call center. We have gone digital, Madam Speaker, that we've put in place through the government service bus. The Zelmis also that provides an opportunity for workers who are aggrieved or who are whistleblowers to communicate, including employers who've got issues to be resolved, to communicate to us with timeliness. So beside that portal, we have the Citizens Portal, which also has a provision for members of the public to ask questions that they are not on subjects that they do not fully understand. They must come up and proactively ask to be guided on the labor law. So, Madam Speaker, we have that. We also guide our employment space on grievance procedures and other policies that ensure that they be proactive rather than wait for our inspection. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
With that comprehensive answer, should we continue asking questions? Let's make progress. Oh, one more question, please. We have a lot of work. Let's be precise. The Honorable Member for Kanchivi.
Madam Speaker, thank you, and I seek your indulgence that this is a very important matter. One of the reasons why we gather here is to ensure that we also speak on behalf of those people who might be voiceless. Madam Speaker, most of the workers we're talking about are scared, they're intimidated by their employers, and they cannot speak. Their unions are toothless, and they are unable to voice out what is happening in the workplace. From the comprehensive inspections, Madam Speaker, which the ministry has taken, and I want to commend the Honourable Minister, what general picture has obtained in terms of the happenings within the sector vis-a-vis the... I slow down? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm saying that the Honourable Minister has informed the House that the ministry has undertaken comprehensive inspections. What general picture has obtained with regard to the status of the welfare of the workers, especially in the private sector, and in particular, the mining sector, the transport sector, and the construction sector? Madam Speaker, thank you.
The Honourable Minister of Labour and Social Security.
Madam Speaker, continuous improvement. I want to put it to the nation that we have progressed very well. When we came, yes, as the Honourable Member for Kanchiwia indicates, a lot of our workers at industry were timid. A lot of them, of course, there are many who came across to the ministry using various mechanisms, but there were many others who didn't believe. They didn't believe there was someone out there at the ministry to help them because of their own experiences from the previous government and the way they interacted with the workers at industry, with the ministry and the amount of work that they put in as spaces. Of course, that is the reason that we ensured that we immediately install, Madam Speaker, that call center where someone can pick up the phone wherever they are. They have got a computer in their hands. They're able to pick up and communicate. If they cannot come because they are concerned that they may be punished if someone tells on them or that they are seen, they didn't have the confidence, if they didn't have confidence, they would pick up the phone and make a phone call. Yes, there are employers who have done very well, that you would say these are a model. You get out there, and especially in the mining industry, the larger mines, the large-scale mines, not large-scale, but the bigger, I must say, bigger mines, you would find that they are mature. If you were to put them on a rating scale of the non-developed employers, developing employers, in fact, the nascent, non-developed, and indeed the expanding and mature ones, you do tend to find that the industry, the mining industry has, they're developing and mature compared to many others. Of course, the financial sector is another one which is got mature, developing and mature. But of course, we've seen mining expand, new mines coming on board, starting from artisanal and medium scale, who have come on. There's a lot of work to be done. The contractors that are working for the large mines also are in the developing, in fact, nascent and developing stage. They too need a lot of work to be done. But thanks to President Hakainde Hichilema, just when we came into government, 2022, one of the pieces of legislation to be put in place was the ZIRIM Act. What the ZIRIM Act did was to provide a frontline buffer in human resource officers, human resource management staff, to take up the role that complements the Ministry of Labour. They are expected and supposed to help the management teams to comply, to interpret the law for them, and on the other hand, interpret it to the workers. So that is a complement that is helping us to begin to grow the space of those employers, Madam Speaker, who are still behind. And the inspections that we undertake are also another form of education where we communicate to these employers and give them milestones to begin to grow areas where they are not doing well. Say where they are not providing contracts which are annotated by the ministry, we give them guidance to begin to do that, and policies, grievance procedures, we are helping them, Madam Speaker. So we be assured that we are reaching out to industry that wasn't there and that is there today. the large and the small. I thank you.
Okay, there is an indication for a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member for Ruvasenshi?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And sorry for interrupting our able Minister for Labor. Madam Speaker, I stand on the serious point of order according to our standing order number 71. My Honorable, seated next to me, Honorable Sandy Chanda, he told this House and the general public that the unions are toothless. And Madam Speaker, from the time UPND government came into power, there is a stability in terms of making sure that there is harmony in most of the mine companies and beyond. Because of that engagement in industrial harmony, where the unions, government, and the employees sit together to ensure that productivity is encouraged. Now, my Honorable is telling the unions that they are toothless, while they are doing their level best to ensure that they represent their workers. And we have ZCTU and other unions who are working day and night to ensure that they maintain stability and unity in their workplaces. Is it in order to tell the unions that they are toothless without laying evidence on the table? I seek your guidance, Madam Speaker. I submit.
Anyway, the Honorable Member for Ruvasenshi has sufficiently debated his point of order. We were just listening, and I'm sure the union is also listening. They have a good representative in the House. So we can leave it at that. I think we had completed, or the Honorable Member for Kantanshi, I wanted to move because there was so much information and we are running late. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi will be the last one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a quick one. You know, I'm coming from the mining sector. Honorable Minister, you have given us quite a comprehensive statement, and how I wish you would regularly come with such information so that we can be able to share with our people. In my constituency, under Mupane Mine, since you talked about artisanal mines, but under Mupane Mine, there are miners that work for contractors. It's normal in business. It's part of optimizing your profit. You can give part of the work to contractors. The other part can remain with the main mine. Now, the problem that I have in my constituency, which is well known by the government, which is well known by the Minister of Mines, is the wages that they get paid. They get paid about 1,500 kwacha every month. There is no clarity on workers' compensation, no clarity on NIMA, no clarity on NAPSA. In fact, the 20% which was brought in by the new Dawn, they have never received, not even an ingwe, because even their employers have not been paying for that. Now, I heard that you have been policing as a ministry. Give us confidence in Kantanshi and in Mufulira district. When are we going to see you ensure that these companies that are benefiting from your own investment in Mupane Mine, after all the hard work that you have done, that they will start getting better salaries next week? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Labor and Social Security.
Madam Speaker, I'm not the one who has talked about next week, lest I'm quoted. I pray that I'll be protected. I'd like to thank the Honorable Member for Kantanshi for that very good questions. Madam Speaker, in recent times we've been to one of the provinces, Northwestern Province, where we specifically went to engage after speaking with inspecting the owners of the assets, the miners, the owners of those mines, both at Kansanshi, at Lumana, and indeed at Kalumbila. And we established that most of the grievances were coming, which were coming through, were like in the case that the honorable members mentioned, they were coming from workers who were employed by contractors of the mine. And the engagement, Madam Speaker, that we will hold on to and assure you that, assure the honorable member that we will undertake an inspection in Kantanshi and Mufulira at large, because we've been going district by district. What came through was that these employers who are contractors are not as compliant as the owners. And our communication is that it is incumbent, the ones who are the first line of defense is the ones who are contracting them, the companies, the employers who are contracting these people. The mine site is theirs. So any incompliance that takes place on that mine, on that business, can injure the credibility, the record of the owner of the project or the operation that they are working with. And so we were seeking cooperation with the government and those companies to work together, that we facilitate more inspections, but not only by the Ministry of Labor, but also by the HR officers in the main company. So in a nutshell, we have seen that. We have heard the honorable member, and we are coming. We will ensure that we deploy in the many places where we know there's those call-outs, the calls on such matters like we did in the other operations in another province. So be assured we will make time within the schedule of the calendar that we go back to the Copper Belt. We've just been there for the transport sector that Honorable Chanda was asking about. We were there recently, but we will be coming back to continue with the other sectors that we have not attended to. But on the issue of the compliance, the salaries being too low, and what will happen going into the future, whether we are considering supporting those workers in the mining sector. A conversation has started between my ministry and the Ministry of Mines to see how we can create those bridges to ensure that our people are not taken advantage of. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Next question, the Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 51. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Isoka, Honorable Nakaponda, is asking my ministry whether government has any plans to construct bridges at the following sites in Isoka Parliamentary Constituency. 1. Robert in Luangwa Ward. 2. Kwama or Kawama Porto Culvert. 3. David Porto Culvert. 4. Mwenikombe Porto Culvert. 5. Chitunji Porto Culvert. And 6. Mbao Porto Culvert. And then B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why? We answer as follows, Madam Speaker. Government has plans to construct bridges at the following sites in Isoka Parliamentary Constituency. Robert in Luangwa Ward, Kwama Porto Culvert, David Porto Culvert, Mwenikombe Porto Culvert, Chitunji Porto Culvert, and Mbao Porto Culvert. B, the construction of the bridges at the site, as stated in A above, will be implemented as and when the funds are secured by the Treasury. C, as indicated in A above, the government has plans to construct bridges at the stated sites. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Was that clear, Honorable Member for Isoka? You heard?
I didn't.
It was a bit faint. Okay, supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you have said when plans will be available. When are the funds are going to be available? And on top of that, are there any immediate alternative solutions or temporary solutions that can be put in place as short-term measure to ensure safe passage of the people, especially the school-going children, because those crossing points, they get flooded during rain season and they become risky and dangerous. When are the funds going to be available, Honorable Minister? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Isoka for the follow-up questions. She's saying, when are the funds going to be available? I think the short answer to that question is when Parliament votes for these funds. Number two, are there alternative methods that can be used in view of the importance of some of these crossing points? Some of these are culverts from the description. So there are some that could be attended by using some CDF funds. So I'd ask the Honourable Member, working with the Council, to find out where CDF can be applied. In fact, just to expand the answer, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development requested local authorities to make submissions of the designs and bills of quantities, BOQs, for selected crossing points in the 2025 annual work plan. In December 2024, the Isoka Town Council undertook the survey of selected crossing points, which included David in Luangwa Ward, Kawama Poto Culvert, Mwenekombe Poto Culvert, Chitungi Poto Culvert, Mbao Luala Poto Culvert, and the Robert Poto Culvert, with a view to prepare BOQs and designs. The BOQs and designs were submitted to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development through the Provincial Local Government Officer for funding. So work has taken place, just waiting for when funds are available at the Minister of Local Government. So I would ask the Honourable Member to liaise with the Minister of Local Government to see where this matter is. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, thank you very much for that answer, but I'm a bit worried because, especially on one of the crossing points by the name of Kawama, about 3 people died on that same crossing point. So my people are worried, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, I'll go and sit down together with local authorities to see how far we can, or what we can do about those crossing points. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. It was more of a comment and reassurance to follow the advice given by the Honourable Minister. Next question, the Honourable Member for Siavonga.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to ask a question, to ask the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, question number 52.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member for Siavonga, Sadarius Mulunda, is asking my ministry why the construction of the following infrastructure in Siavonga district has stalled. That's 1, district administration; 2, post office; 3, staff houses; B, when the project will resume; C, what time frame for the completion of the project is; and D, what the total cost of the project is. Madam Speaker, the construction of district administration, office block, post office and staff houses in Siavonga have stalled due to fiscal constraints. Obviously, the project will resume when the funds are secured, and the project will be completed within 12 months from the time of procuring procuring a contractor. The total cost of the project will be established once the works are procured. In the interest of time, Madam Speaker, maybe without waiting for follow-up questions, I can give more detailed information on these projects. The completion of stored projects is being undertaken in phases, starting with projects that are 80% complete. And their implementation is dependent on the availability of funds. So construction of District Administration Office Block, the initial contract for the construction of the District Administration Block in Siavonga District was awarded to Antioch Noble Limited at a cost of 5,897,230 kwacha. The project commenced in 2015 and was supposed to be completed in 2016. The project stalled at 30% completion, and the works executed comprised the substructure and a part of the superstructure. The contractor terminated the project due to non-performance, and the process of procuring a replacement contractor will commence once funds are secured from the Treasury. The funds required to complete the outstanding will be ascertained once a new contractor is finally engaged. The Post Office, the initial contract for the construction of the Post Office in Siavonga District was awarded to Contech Engineering Company Limited at a contract sum of 2,203,505 kwacha. The project commenced in 2015 and was supposed to be completed in 2015 itself. The project stalled at 35% completion, which comprised the substructure, superstructure, and part of internal and external plastering. The contract again was terminated due to non-performance by the contractor, and the process of procuring a replacement contractor will commence once funds are available. Construction of staff houses, number 20 low-cost houses. The contract for the construction of these 20 low-cost houses in Siavonga District was awarded to Mixed Jar General Dealers Limited at a contract sum of 10,307,092 kwacha 12 ngwe. The work commenced in 2015 and was supposed to be completed in 2016. The project stalled at 30% completion, and again, works done comprise the substructures, part of the superstructure, and some of the houses were roofed. The contract was terminated due to non-performance by the contractor, and the new contract will be procured once funds are secured. Medium-cost houses, the construction of 10 medium-cost houses in Siavonga was awarded to NetWeb Investments Limited at a contract sum of 8,244,725 kwacha 24 ngwe. Again, the works commenced in 2015 and was supposed to complete in 2016. The project stalled at 25%. Again, the contract was terminated due to non-performance by the contractor. The Honourable Member has been active in following up projects in his constituency, to the extent that he visited me in the office recently. In addition to what was discussed on the roads, I would ask him to continue to engage on these stalled projects so that in 2016 we can undertake some of the works that are involved in this question. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
2016, Honorable Minister. We are going backwards.
2026.
2026, yes, okay. Thank you very much. We make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Mbabala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 53.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Where did I go?
Nyakasia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Musanje would like to find out from the Minister of Health in A, whether the government has any plans to replace non-functional mortuary equipment at Macha Mission Hospital in Mbabala Parliamentary Constituency. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in C, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, government is aware that the mortuary unit at Macha Mission Hospital is old and requires replacement. It is functional but prone to frequent breakdowns. The ministry is procuring mortuary units in phased manner, and the Macha Mission Hospital is among the beneficiaries. In B, the plans for Macha Mission will be implemented in the first quarter of 2026. Madam Speaker, in C, government has plans, therefore, C falls off. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Mbabala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. The people of Mbabala are very delighted with the response and commitment by the Honorable Minister of Health to purchase and install new mortuary equipment in the first quarter of 2026 at the Macha Mission Hospital. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, and well done, Honorable Minister. Job well done.
Thank you very much. Next question, the Honorable Member for... Next question, the Honorable Member for Muchinga.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question number 54.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Muchinga constituents is asking the Minister of Energy a question in three parts. In A, whether the government has any plans to connect the following areas in Muchinga parliamentary constituents to the national grid. And that is 1, Kundalamwashe, Kaseva, Muyenda, Kamena, Chitankwa, Mukopa, and Masase. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in C, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, our response is as follows. In A, yes, the government has plans to electrify the following areas in Muchinga parliamentary constituents: Kundarumwashe, Kaseva, Muyenda, Kamena, Chitankwa, Mukopa, and Masase. In B, according to the updated revised electrification master plan, the facilities mentioned in A are scheduled to be electrified starting 2026. The Rural Electrification Authority is currently undertaking feasibility studies in the named areas. However, subsequent electrification of the areas mentioned will be done in a phased approach, starting with Masase, subject to availability of funds. In C, the areas mentioned in A above shall be electrified. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Muchinga.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, last time when you were answering about Masase, you were very confident. Now, today you have started the explanations of according to availability of funds. I don't think there is any member of parliament and the people of any constituency who likes that word. So they always try to find a better word. Because we believe that funds are there. You just have to prioritize an area, and then it has to be done. Madam Speaker, I just want to tell the Minister, before I ask my question, that we have got areas like Kamena. Kamena, we have got a day secondary school, and you know where there is a secondary school, a lot is needed that deals with the power. And also we have got health facilities, primary schools, a number of activities. So when you say subject to availability of funds, it is worrying us. My question to you is, since you say that these areas will be considered for electrification, like in 2026, in a phased manner, can you tell the people of Muchinga as to how you have arranged them in terms of consideration? Which ones will come first and which ones will follow? And the process will take how long? Is it all going to be done within 2026 or you will go beyond 2026? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
For the honorable members, we are not following up questions. If I was to point at one of you, honorable members, to tell us what the question was, you have challenges. So let's listen and follow the proceedings. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, in my submission, I've said that we are going to start with Masase. And the more reason why I've said we are going to electrify these areas in a phased manner is also the more reason I've stated that this will depend because of the availability of funds, where we'll be doing these things in a phased manner. And I did mention that we are starting with Masase. And also, when the feasibility studies, Madam Speaker, are concluded, we will be able to know what are the urgent areas that need to be prioritized. Of course, by engaging the Member of Parliament. But there are such facilities like secondary school he has mentioned. Definitely, we understand as a government that we need to support our education facilities and health. But this is also depends with the Member of Parliament who represent the good people of Muchinga as we plan for these areas. But mostly important is to make sure that we allow feasibility studies to be concluded, and we will be in the know how we are going to prioritize this area. Masase is one area that we are very sure that things have advanced. That's why I have stated that we are going to start with Masase in 2026. But of course, going forward, because our policy is to make sure that by 2030, people have got access to universal electricity. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Madam Speaker, I'm so grateful. Honorable Minister, the constituency in question is my neighbor. And you might wish to know that this is a constituency that has got a substation near it called Pensulo, and they produce electricity for this country at Lukuswasi. Now, Madam Speaker, these are people who are just watching electricity, passing them like this in the air. And they every day see it go, and they don't have any connection. And the minister said when funds are made available, and he did mention that the Rural Electrification Authority is in the area doing something. Madam Speaker, I'm not satisfied with that answer. Because that Member of Parliament seated there, he's got money sitting at the Rural Electrification Authority, including me, Madam Speaker. 1 million kwacha. So there is no issue of funds when they are available. Why can't the minister tell us when they are going to utilize those funds sitting in his office, the 1 million, to at least connect the people of Masase, where we know even our chieftain Serenje is somewhere there.
Honorable Minister, I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that question. Madam Speaker, the 1 million that people have been, Honorable Members of Parliament have been talking about, yes, including me. Madam Speaker, initially, I did mention to the members of Parliament that this was meant for technical support. That's what I mentioned. Madam Speaker, the networks that are required to rectify these areas that have been mentioned in Muchinga constituency, 1 million is just a drop in the ocean. These are just supportive factors that, you know, this government was thinking that it will facilitate in terms of like pushing for feasibility studies and the other technical aspects that will make us to put up these networks in these areas. And also I want to mention, Madam Speaker, is that the Honorable Member is saying that he is doubting what I have just mentioned. The Honorable Member of Muchinga constituency is aware of what RIA is doing in that constituency. We are we are progressing very well so far, and I believe come next year we'll be able to start somewhere to start connecting these areas. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. It looks like the Honorable Member for Muchinga, you still have a question? Okay, we can have the last question from you.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm sure the Honorable Minister knows what he says when he says we are progressing well. Of course, with the 1 million kwacha that we kept
so
to
there
be
is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Chitambo, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, my point of order is pursuant to Standing Order 71. In a quest to wanting to know whether what the minister has stated here is the correct position in regards to what we were told by the Minister of Local Government when they cut these 1 million kwachas from the Constituency Development Fund. Madam Speaker, I've been told to indicate which areas we wanted rectified because this money was sufficient to rectify those areas. Is the minister in order to come and tell this August House that those 1 million kwachas were just meant for feasibility studies and are just a drop in an ocean? When all these members of Parliament in this House, Madam Speaker, are expecting something to happen to those monies that were deposited in the account of the Ministry of Local Government. Madam Speaker, I need your serious role.
Thank you very much. Now it looks like there's, from what the Honorable Member for Chitambo is saying, that there's a contradiction between what the Honorable Minister of Energy has just stated and what the Honorable Minister of Local Government has had earlier assured the Honorable Members of Parliament. The two Honorable Ministers, please can you put your act together and advise the Honorable Members, this 1 million, what was it for? Was it to electrify the whole area or just for feasibility or a drop in the ocean? So Honorable Members, please, as we come to the House, let's be consistent with our answers and questions so that we don't mislead the Honorable Members and also the members of the public. Because now the Honorable Members, the members of the public are expecting power in their various constituencies. And then the power is not coming forth. It's not going to reflect very well on the executive. So thank you for that point of order. Honorable member, ministers, the two honorable ministers, please, you are put on notice to ensure that you correct that position. The honorable member for Muchinga.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I remember last time there was a question regarding the 1 million kwacha, where the minister told us that the money was not enough. And speaking for the people of Muchinga, Madam Speaker, we had to look for some extra funds, and I'm sure that's why I was saying that when the minister says we are progressing well, he knows what he's saying. So that 1 million in the case of people of Muchinga, we have utilized it because we have already found an extra amount so that they can connect us as regards to what was our priority area. Madam Speaker, I just want to encourage the Honorable Minister that as we do Masase and the other areas, please, let's also consider Kamena, because I know the challenges that are there. This is a secondary school, and also we should consider Mukopa, which is a place with a lot of people who can also benefit from electricity. Because I know when Kamena is done, Kundarumasha will be connected, because the power will have to pass through Kundarumasha, Kaseva, Moenda, that's when it reaches to Kamena. So once I emphasize on Kamena, then I know these areas are covered, but also consider Mkopa. Madam Speaker, I just hope that the minister will continue working hard so that the people of Muchinga are connected. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy, do you have any comment?
No, Madam Speaker, but only to say thank you very much. The Honorable Member is representing very well the constituents. We continue looking at the 2 million he has mentioned as we engage ZESCO, as we engage RIA, to make sure that the constituency is attended to very well.
You know, there is I had timed my work and I'm behind time now. But what's the point of order, Honorable Member for Nyimba?
Madam Speaker, is pursuant to 71. The Minister of Energy in order, Madam Speaker, to tell us that there is 2 million for that project. In this circular, Madam Speaker, it's coming from the Ministry of Local Government, instructing OCDF committees across this country, all 156 constituencies, to utilize this money to identify areas where we can do rooftops, solar systems. Even in the case of Nyimba, where all projects they come with a rooftop solar system. But again, we've been instructed, Madam Speaker, on the same money to write to the Ministry of Local Government so that they come they rectify our project, which we've already rectified. So is the minister in order to tell us about 2 million when he knows very well that, Madam Speaker, we are 3 million now? I thank you.
Honorable Member for Nyimba, the Honorable Minister was talking about the 2 million in reference to what the Honorable Member for Muchinga was saying. You may recall that the Honorable Member for Muchinga made a number of comments and the Minister was just appreciating for that appreciation coming from the Honorable Member for Muchinga. So the point of order cannot be sustained. Let's make progress. Motion, the Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, African Regional Conference, and Annual General Meeting hosted by the Parliament of the Gambia in Banjul from 10th to 16th August 2025, laid on the table of the House on 4th November 2025.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Can we maintain some silence, please?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Order, honorable members, order. Seconded by the honorable member for Dudumwezi. The question is, that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA, African Region. Honorable members at the back there, please. Seconded by the Honorable Member for Dudumwezi. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA, African Region Conference, held in Banjul, the Gambia, from the 10th to the 16th August 2025, for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 30th October 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 154 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, I wish to render a report on the activities of the 54th CPA African Regional Conference and Annual General Meeting, highlighting the key recommendations made. The 54th Conference and AGM convened under the theme Strengthening Democracy, Strengthening Democratic Governance and Resilience in Africa, Tackling Conflicts, Economic Shocks and Climate Risks. The theme was intended to enhance legislative and policy solutions on matters affecting the development of member states, including climate financing, graft, access to health, artificial intelligence, and disability, to create a more stable, prosperous, resilient Africa, where citizens can thrive and reach their full potential. The 54th CPA African Regional Conference was officially opened by His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia. In his address, Mr. Adama Barrow noted that the theme of the conference accurately reflected Africans' shared aspirations and formidable challenges, and called for collective action to decisively address instability, economic shocks, and climate-related threats. He drew attention to Africa's acute economic vulnerabilities, including rising inflation, unsustainable debt burdens, and the global supply chain disruptions, all of which were severely exacerbated by climate impacts such as droughts, floods, sea level rise, resource scarcity, and associated migration pressures. Madam Speaker, it is my belief that members have read the report of the delegation. I will therefore only highlight some of the key resolutions made by the General Meeting. Madam Speaker, the AGM encouraged the African parliaments to enforce the polluter pays principle, incorporating specific provisions targeting large industries operating within their jurisdictions and requiring them to bear the full cost of environmental damage, and that such provisions should include the imposition of environmental levies, mandatory recommendation and restoration obligations, penalties for non-compliance, and contribution to environmental trust funds to support affected communities and ecosystems. Further, African parliaments were encouraged to mandate the integration of climate change education into national curricula from an early age, ensuring that learners acquire the awareness, knowledge, and practical skills necessary to address climate-related challenges and actively contribute to sustainable development through their lives. I beg your pardon. Madam Speaker, on fighting graft, the AGM urged African parliaments to take measures to compel their respective governments to maintain comprehensive and up-to-date case logs for courts and corruption investigations. Ensure such records were made publicly accessible and take effective steps to expedite the hearing and determination of pending corruption cases, therefore promoting transparency, accountability, and the timely delivery of justice in Africa. The conference further advised African parliaments to enact comprehensive asset disclosure statutes requiring annual public declaration by officials with protected channels for whistleblowers. Madam Speaker, in order to boost industrialization through value addition and local manufacturing, African parliaments were called upon to enshrine local content requirements in agriculture, mining, and manufacturing, supported by fiscal incentives for value addition enterprises. The AGM also encouraged African governments to disseminate special economic zones to designate, I beg your pardon, I read that again. The AGM also encouraged African governments to designate special economic zones and vocational training hubs to support industry growth and to foster collaboration with the private sector, academia, and research institutions to stimulate innovation, enhance skills development, and promote knowledge transfer in manufacturing. Madam Speaker, as regards inclusion and empowerment of persons with disability, the AGM appealed to African governments to ratify or domesticate the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, embed mandatory accessibility standards in legislation, and mandate the collection and maintenance of aggregated up-to-date data of persons with disabilities, recognizing that effective policy formulation and program management require accurate qualifications and evidence-based decision-making. Madam Speaker, in order to attain accessible and affordable health care in the context of universal health coverage, African parliaments were requested to enact laws that firmly entrench health rights, guaranteeing access to quality, affordable, and equitable health care for all citizens, ensuring...
Honorable Member, kindly wind up. Your time is up.
I'm almost there. Ensuring accountability for government delivery in the health sector in this regard. The AGM advised governments to study and adopt best practices from successful models such as Rwanda's community health initiatives, legislating policies that strengthen primary health care, expand community-based health services, and ensure inclusive access to all citizens. Madam Speaker, on leveraging artificial intelligence in parliamentary processes and legislative oversight, African parliaments were urged to adopt a code of practice for the use of artificial intelligence, ensuring transparency, data privacy, and ethical safeguards, and enact comprehensive regulations that define risk safeguards and enact comprehensive AI regulations that define risk tiers, establish penalties for misuse, and promote responsible, accountable, and innovative applications of AI. The AGM encouraged African parliaments to digitalize parliamentary infrastructure by adopting modern information and communication technologies that enhance efficiency in legislative work, improve record management, and promote transparency and accessibility of parliamentary proceedings to the public. As I wind up, Madam Speaker, let me report that the AGM resolved to place on record that the 54th Conference of the CPA formally endorsed the candidature of Honorable Nontemba Boyce, MP, KwaZulu-Natal, as the sole candidate or sole nominee for the position of CWP International Chairperson for the election that is scheduled, or it took place. This is taken by events. The election took place. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to express profound gratitude on behalf of the delegation to you for the opportunity to participate at the 54th conference. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Dundumwezi.
Madam Speaker, may I thank you for according me this opportunity to second the motion ably moved by the able Member of Parliament for Chasefu. Madam Speaker, I want to state that the Zambian delegation that you sent to the Banjul, the Gambia, on the 10th of September, August to 16, actually did attend and participated to all the programs that were put across. Allow me to also thank the Secretariat that accompanied us, because they did a commendable job. They led us through to everything to an extent that Zambia, Madam Speaker, was spotted out having done a number of good things, e.g. the chairman or the mover of the motion has indicated that one of the things that we deliberated on was on governance deficits. We talked about artificial intelligence. We also deliberated on climate change. Madam Speaker, Zambia was spotted out to some extent that during our side meetings, a number of delegates were thrilled as to how Zambia managed to organize resources, especially in the health sector. When we presented our case as to how our government managed to procure 156 Land Cruiser vehicles for our constituencies, it was unbelievable to a number of the CPA states. And when we brought out issues of a government procuring 156 vehicles for CDF, and how this CDF has assisted in a number of developmental projects in our constituents, I want to tell you that a lot of our colleagues came to us to find out how we were doing it. So I want to state that a number of states actually envy, and they are saying, but where did you find all this money? We told them that government has put a lot of measures, reduced corruption, has made us accumulate all these resources, and also appointing responsible cabinet in various ministries has also helped us to reach at this point. Madam Speaker, I want to state that probably from the time that your delegation appeared in Gambia, you will see a lot of parliaments coming to this country to come and learn how this country is doing things for us to get these resources that were not there before. Madam Speaker, this conference laid a very important platform. We also learned from other jurisdictions as to how they are managing. For example, the mover indicated or gave an example of how Rwanda is managing in the IT sector. And I think as a country, we need to learn. We need to learn how Rwanda has managed to reach that far. Once we do that, Madam Speaker, this country is destined or will be destined for greatness. Madam Speaker, if you can allow me to also just pick up one issue that came out strongly, was the issue of governance deficit. I think it's clear now that in this country we are on our way to achieve a desirable democracy. We have, at this point in time, Madam Speaker, able to interact freely. And I think a lot of the delegates were happy to see the milestone that this country has reached. And they are very desirous actually to come and learn from this country. Madam Speaker, may I now ask the entire Parliament to support and adopt our report. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, I support the demand for the adoption of this report by this August House. And I do so because any suggestion to improve governance, any suggestion to improve democracy in our country as it stands now is a matter that I would welcome, because I sense we are in dire need of improvement. Madam Speaker, the mover makes reference to strengthening legislative and policy solutions to enhance democracy and good governance. Now, this was deliberated at CPA, demonstrating the importance of democracy and good governance. And so I am motivated to speak about this subject because of its importance. By making this contribution, I would like to say, if you undertake a benchmarking expedition and fail to bring recommendations to your own country, that benchmarking is a waste of public resources. And I am happy this particular report will be adopted here today, meaning that the benchmarking that this delegation took must be applied to our own country. Madam Speaker, strengthen legislative solutions in our own democracy. Let's now stop here and look at what legislation we have done, which have passed through this assembly, assented by the president, and who have delivered to the Zambian people and said, these are the laws we have made to make democracy better. Cyber laws, Madam Speaker. Cyber laws. Those cyber laws are terrible for democracy, Madam Speaker. Those laws cannot be said to be enhancing democracy because they stifle people's contribution to the democratic process. Therefore, Madam, as we look at this important delegation, we must introspect. We must think about even what we are trying to do now, Madam Speaker. We are trying to amend the Constitution as a nation. What are those things which are contained in that bill, the Bill 7, which we can say these particular provisions are going to improve our democratic standing as a nation, Madam Speaker? I would comfortably and confidently stand here and say there's none. Those provisions will take our country 50 years backwards. And this is why I have rejected to offer my support to contents of Bill 7, Madam Speaker.
Order.
Madam Speaker.
Order, honorable members. Honorable Member for Lunte, Bill 7 that you are discussing is not even before this House. So please don't discuss a matter that is not before the House. And when the matter is brought the House, then you'll be free to debate as you please, but within context. Be patient. The Honorable Member for Lunte, as guided, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, policy governance. Madam, strengthen the policy environment in order to improve governance. What policies have we seen? Even on what my brother mentioned, corruption, Madam Speaker. What have we seen? SCC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has been mentioned in this particular report. And they come to appear before a committee in the National Assembly of Zambia and they tell us, the ministers who are under investigations, we are not going to tell you their names because their integrity is at stake. Madam Speaker, what type of good governance is that? And I hear one minister who may be on that list calling me bitter. Let me tell you, there's nothing to be happy about concerning what anti-corruption told us in a committee. There's nothing. We needed to be aware.
Honorable Member, order. Honorable Member for Lunte, please just control your emotions. Debate addressing the chair. Don't concentrate on the other members. They will distract you and you will fail to make your points. So please, let's be in control for emotions. You may continue as guided.
What policy, Madam, have we put in place to forestall, to curtail, to stop illicit financial flows? Does it bother you, PND, that in 4 years over $10 billion has flown out of this country? Madam Speaker, 60 billion kwacha, 34.5 billion kwacha, 2.8 billion United States dollars, 3.5 billion United States dollars, 3.5 billion United States dollars flowing out of this country because UPND doesn't care. And when we stand here, Madam, looking at you directly, one minister will say you are bitter. How can I not be bitter? Over $10 billion has flown out of this country and people don't have medicine in the hospitals. People have got bad roads in our country. People, Madam, are suffering because of the high cost of living and money is just leaving the country. And one minister or two or three can even be proud to say these guys are bitter. Madam Speaker.
Order, Honorable Member. Now, I don't know, are we debating the adoption of the report of the delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Or we are just doing the general debate on the state of the nation and what we feel or what we view in our opinion to be the status of the nation. Let's concentrate on the report. If we have any other concerns, honorable members have a right to move a motion and then they can go and come and debate and express themselves. Let's not mask our debates in reports, innocent reports that are just talking about how we can improve the democratic process in our country. May the honorable member continue.
Madam, thank you so much. I was on strengthening policy framework, and I sensed that Madam, that the seconder was able to articulate how these CDF Land Cruisers were admired by their colleagues. Madam Speaker, I am happy that a product of 2.3% of the national budget can be taken to CPA. And CPA will admire the 2.3% of the national budget, Madam. And Madam Speaker, this for me is amazing. This is the level we have come to as a country. We have come to aggrandizing 2% of our budget, leaving, Madam, 98%. It should worry everybody. This, Madam, is a policy issue that must worry every Zambian. Madam Speaker, can you imagine if your members of CPA were able...
Sorry, honorable member, order. There is an indication for a point of order. The honorable member for Kalavo Central, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 2%. Honorable member for Lunte is talking of 2%. No, you said 2%. Whether it is 2.3 or 2, it's 2. Madam Speaker, Order 71, relevance. 2% in 2025 has distributed 116 ambulances. 2% in 2025. Honorable Kafaya, former minister, in that, also there was that 20%. Is he in order? Honorable Madam Speaker, is Honorable Kafaya in order? Not to know that in that former 2% failed to distribute 116 ambulances in this country. Is he in order not to state that? I need your serious ruling. Thank you.
Order, honorable members, that's why I was saying, let's concentrate on the report. Those issues that we are bringing about 2%, so much money has left the country, this amount without proof being laid on the table of the House. Honorable member for Lunte, you knew that you are going to debate this report today, and if you intended to mention those numbers, those figures, those percentages, you should have brought the evidence here. Remember, our rules require us to be factual, and the facts should be verifiable. Now, when you just mention numbers which are not verifiable, it's not going to carry. In any event, the report is not talking about how much money left the country and how much people are impressed with the of course, there was an example, the procurement of ambulances, the procurement of CDF for motor vehicles. He was just giving an example. So we shouldn't use that as a basis for our debate. The debate is to adopt this report. So let's not go to specific issues that are not mentioned in the report. The honorable member may continue. Maybe you wind up now, so that we make progress.
Yes, Madam, let me wind up by consolidating my support for the adoption of this report. As I remind the former Deputy Minister in PF, in whose constituents I was able to commission a telecommunication tower. Madam Speaker.
All that, honorable member. Order, order. Honorable member, that issue of the tower, who was doing what, is not in this report. The issue of relevance, let's stick to the report so that we make progress. Otherwise, we are not adding value to the process that we are undertaking at the moment. The honorable member for Lunte, please conclude.
Madam Speaker, on page 15, review and eliminate outdated laws ensuring that legal frameworks adequately protect the rights of persons with disability and promote their integration across all policies and programs. Madam Speaker, I want to be present on that day when this country will promote policies and laws which are going to ensure that persons with disability are included at every level of governance in every arm of government. Madam, starting even with the presiding officers in an assembly like we are here, I want to see legislation which will make sure persons with disability are given an opportunity to participate in governance. This is why, Madam, I miss Honorable Chilangwa, who was sitting just behind me. He was the only person with disability in this assembly. He is now incarcerated. Madam Speaker, I want to see this in the judiciary.
Honorable member for Lunte.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you are also wearing specs. Is that not a sign of incapacity? Disability. We are all disabled. Okay, please wind up.
I remember how you praised the Minister of Finance for reading without glasses. Madam, I'm also able to read without glasses. Madam Speaker, even in the executive, you want DCs who are disabled. You want, Madam, anyway, I can sense. Madam Speaker, I support the adoption of this report.
Thank you very much. The honorable member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me just focus on 4 things.
Order before you focus. As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon, and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for a 20 minutes break, and under consideration on the floor of the House is a motion that has been moved by Mr. Mishek Nyambose, urging that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association CPA Africa Region Conference held in Banjul, the Gambia, from 10th to 16th August 2025 for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 30th October 2025. And at the time business was being suspended on the floor of the House was Nyimba Member of Parliament, Mr. Menyani Zulu, just about to debate the motion. And so when business resumes after the break, we do expect Nyimba Member of Parliament to debate the motion.
Business of the House did start at 14:30 hours, and Madam Speaker made 2 announcements. In the first announcement, she recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Lusaka International Primary School in Lusaka District, and on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly of Zambia. And in the second announcement, she also recognized the presence in the public gallery of officers from the Public Policy Academy in Lusaka District, and she warmly welcomed them to the institution.
Yes, indeed, Joe. Madam Speaker also recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Revival Christian School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly. The House has also so far considered 6 questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. We will get to the details at a later stage.
Right now, we go for a break. We'll be back at 17 hours. Stay glued to Parliament TV. Don't go away. Good afternoon.
Every year on 11th October, the world recognizes the strength, potential and rights of over 600 million adolescent girls. The International Day of the Girl is more than just a date. It is a global call to invest in girls' education, health, protection and empowerment. In many parts of the world, including Zambia, girls continue to face barriers that limit their dreams. These include period poverty, child marriage, school absenteeism and social inequality. On Friday, 17th October 2025, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, in collaboration with the Parliamentary Caucus on Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights in Life Skills and Health Education, hosted an engagement meeting at the National Assembly of Zambia to mark the Day of the Girl. This year's International Day of the Girl was commemorated under the theme, "The Girl I Am, the Change I Lead, Girls on the Front Lines of Crisis." Honorable Malungo Chisangano MP, First Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, in her opening remarks, highlighted the importance of addressing menstrual hygiene openly.
Sanitary hygiene is a subject that some people still feel uncomfortable to discuss openly. However, it is a natural part of life, particularly for girls and women, and should be addressed candidly and respectfully. There is absolutely nothing shameful about talking about the changes that come with puberty. They are normal biological processes that should not be surrounded by stigma or silence. Every child deserves the dignity to manage their Every girl deserves the dignity to manage her menstrual health safely, privately, and with confidence. Ensuring access to sanitary hygiene is not just a matter of health, but also of human rights, equity, and respect. Girls and boys, let's talk about sanitary hygiene.
Honorable Chisangano called for collective action to end period poverty.
Many girls in our country, especially in rural areas, miss school because they cannot afford the sanitary pads. Some stay home, some feel embarrassed, while others use unsafe materials. This is called period poverty, and it is something we must end. I am reliably informed that you are well informed about these matters and are here today to share your stories, your ideas, and your solutions with us as members of Parliament. And we are here to listen, to learn, and where possible, to act. Your submissions can help us to identify ways of making sanitary pads or even better health care packages for you, our young people, more affordable. This, we believe, will keep more girls and, to some extent, boys in school. The boys also have issues, and I'm keen to hear their issues too.
A key highlight of the event came from the voices of the youths from the Girls Act program and from the Boys to Men program, who shared personal stories about how menstruation without dignity affects girls' education, confidence and equality.
We, the young people of Zambia, believe that menstrual products are a necessity, not a luxury. Yet, sanitary pads are still taxed like luxury items. This makes them too expensive for many girls and women, especially in peri-urban and rural areas. As a result, many girls in Zambia miss an average of 2 school days per month due to lack of pads, hence the fear of staining the uniform and the shame that comes with it. Why it matters? Because of this tax, Many girls miss school during their periods. Some even drop out completely. We think that removing VAT and all levies on pads will make them affordable for every girl and woman.
Every girl deserves to learn with dignity, even during her periods. But many schools in our communities have no menstrual health suppliers, which is true. What matters to me most is that without pads, girls stay home for several days every month, missing lessons and opportunities, like the way we are gathering here today. We have seen how donations from AHF Zambia and other such as organizations help, but donations cannot last.
Support local production of these menstrual products. Now, you might ask, what are the advantages of supporting such a cause? Well, this will lead to lower prices of these sanitary towels, which is our aim, of course. And when lower prices are made on these products, it will lead to availability, which will also lead to access to these same products. It will also create job opportunities for youth in Zambia. So it will be like killing two birds with one stone. Yeah. Zambia has both the creativity and the capacity to make affordable pads that are reusable and safe to use.
Many boys and even some girls don't understand menstruation because it's never discussed openly. This leads to stigma and hence also shame. Why it matters? Menstrual health educates help both boys and girls understand periods that are normal and natural, not something to be ashamed of, or when we learn together, we build and respect.
I am a girl child who once went to secondary school. I couldn't talk freely about having my periods because at some point in grade 8, I actually messed up myself. That was the first time I had my periods. I could see boys talking about it privately because not everyone comes from a home where a mother will sit down a boy child and a girl child and educate them to say menstruation is a normal thing. Coming from that background, menstrual health should be made normal starting from schools. The stigma and myths that surround menstrual health are so deep such that they are rooted not only in the mentality of the people that don't understand it, but they go as far as the cultural things that we have been taught until today.
The legislators in attendance expressed their gratitude to the organizers and encouraged both girls and boys to continue raising their voices on issues that impact their lives.
I'm just so grateful to all of you and to the team, to all the organizations as we celebrate International Day of Girls. And we need boys who can respect girls, not to see them as sexual objects. It's very important. Men who can see young women as their daughters or sisters, not as sexual objects.
Let us talk also about access, availability, because as she said, it's nature. Whereas you can have an option to use a condom and it becomes a choice, there is no choice with menstrual poverty. It is part of nature. It's God-driven. That's how it is. And meaning that in terms of availability and in terms of access, it should be almost connected to nature.
As you know, menstruation is a normal physiological process. As one of you said, it is something that is very necessary. And there's no reason why we should be shy about it. But I agree with you that indeed we need to destigmatize this. Okay? We need honest conversations, open, parents and their daughters, fathers like me and their daughters.
There should be serious greater involvement of boys if stigma and discrimination is to be fought. Because stigma and discrimination is not coming from outside. Actually, when a girl child is, it is that time of the month. The stigma is actually coming from the other gender, the boys. So there should be serious and greater involvement of the boys in the activities that you people are doing. So apart from what AHF Zambia is providing, get involved. also in the youth-friendly spaces, in your communities, at the health facilities. And by doing that, I think the issue to do with the stigma and discrimination will be minimized, or at the end of the day, it will be a thing of the past.
The event concluded with action commitments, pledges by leaders to support and follow up on policies that uplift girls and remove barriers to their success. The International Day of the Girl reminds us that when we invest in girls, we invest in a stronger, healthier nation.
On Oyo constituency, we profile one of the most prominent constituencies in the country.
The constituency is facing a lot of challenges, but the major ones are, number one, poor road network, communication network, no financial institutions, no colleges, no electricity, and inadequate infrastructure in both education and health.
bayuthi nabonayika mulandu n'obwalwa nabanamayo bonse nabaponenamu nsunko obwalwa kyena nakibonawula
ekyo ndeko nkomesha ndeko obuyantanshi kuno kwanga obukinjeko kuno mukushi ze farm block ande mukushi noturalima ko everything sana so no misevo poor road networks otu challenge tukwete po tureshingwana na yena.
In Mukushi, we watch Parliament TV.
Watch Parliament TV, the TV that brings Parliament closer to our community.
Parliament TV kuria,
Keep watching Parliament Television.
My eParliament mobile application. My eParliament is a mobile application developed by the National Assembly of Zambia in order to bring Parliament closer to you. You can download and install My eParliament from App Store or Play Store. Once installed, you can raise your concerns, provide your input, opinion and feedback on various projects or decisions being made in your constituency. On My eParliament mobile application, you can listen to Parliament Radio. You will have access to parliamentary documents such as bills and acts which are considered in Parliament. You will also have access to National Assembly social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can also watch parliamentary debates live on our YouTube channel. Download My eParliament now. My eParliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.